How you doing? How's everybody doing? Show number 212. And today, in a non-musical show, it's a talking show. We are here in the Four Corners Project studio in Beit Shemesh, Israel. And I hope you guys are doing great, as we are now officially 26 days away from Rosh Hashanah. Getting close to the high holy days. High holy days, they don't pass you by. That's right. So, hope everything's good. Today we have a little bit of a different show for you. We have a show where we're going to talk about the history of Shlock Rock. And more specifically, a little bit of the cities that we toured. We toured so many cities, it's crazy. Maybe we'll talk about some of the albums. I want to start off by first telling you, let's get the paperwork out of the way. For those of you watching from the 4 Facebook pages, Lenny Solomon English, Lenny Solomon Hebrew, Shlock Rock page, or the Four Corners Project page, make sure you leave us a good comment. Spread it around, share it. If you're watching from the 2 YouTube channels, Shlock Rock YouTube channel or the Four Corners Project YouTube channel, subscribe, leave us a thumbs up, leave us a good comment. If you're watching from LinkedIn, Lenny Solomon, make sure you comment. I love getting your comments. Sometimes your comments don't go through here and I only see it afterwards. So don't get frustrated. And then finally, Twitter at Lenny Solomon. Make sure you retweet. And of course, our sponsor is the Four Corners Project.org. You see it right in front of you, the Four Corners Project.org, and that's what keeps us going. Informal Jewish education through music and media, fresh content coming out, 20 new songs released. How can you get those 20 new songs? Go to fourcornersproject.org, place a $36 donation or more. I will send you the link for those 20 songs and the 16 songs that we've been writing during the year. We have so many things planned for you guys, so many things. And now, on with the show. Shout out to Uri Butler. Uri, it's great to see you. Also, I want to give a shout out to Frank Rubin, who told me before the show that on October 27th, 1990, I played his bar mitzvah in Pennsylvania. He might have been the first bar mitzvah in Pennsylvania that I played, that Shlock Rock played. I don't know for sure. I'd have to go through the records. Shout out to Steve Ettinger. Steve, you're in New Milford, New Jersey. All right. So you're on the road, because Steve lives in Israel with us here in Beit Shemesh. He doesn't live in Beit Shemesh, but he does live in Israel. And I want to also start, before we start talking about the Shlock Rock concerts and everything, here we go. Before we start talking about the Shlock Rock concerts, I want to tell you that this show is for the Refuah Shlema of Chaim Moshe ben Leah, Yaakov ben Sarah, Isser ben Leah, and let's hope that everybody has a clean bill of health. Hashem can heal. And also this month of Elul, I heard a great vort from Rabbi Meilach Biederman, who said, this is the time. You have Hashem right here with you. You could talk to him every day, set it up. I'm talking to myself because, we just don't know we don't do it necessarily. We just kind of thump for our way through Elul, and then all of a sudden, Rosh Hashanah is here. We say hello to Edward. Good to see you, Edward. Okay, so you ready to get started on our little talk, our journey back in time to the beginning of Shlock Rock. So how did Shlock Rock start? So Shlock Rock started before Shlock Rock. I was in a band called Kesher. Kesher was a Hasidic top 40 band. We were really, really great, really fun, and we put out 3 albums. The first album had on it "Hit Me With Your Best Shot." That was the first parody album, first parody song that we put out. And it caused shock waves in the Jewish music world. Eventually, Shlock Rock would spin off and become its own band. And 1986, the first album, Shlock Rock Learning is Good, came out. It had on it Born in the USA, Making Aliyah Today. It had on it Abarbanel, and so on and so forth. In the meantime, though, I was still with Kesher, and we had put out Shlock Rock 1. We put out Jewish Pride with Minyan Man and Hine Matov, right? And everything. And what else? So we also put out Purim Torah and Emuna And then in 1987, the first concert that I played as Shlock Rock was September 6th, 1987, in Montreal, followed by a week later, September 12th, in Toronto. So the first two shows were actually in Canada. Now, I have a list of all the states and all the places that we have played the first time we came to them. So Montreal and Toronto were 1987, September 6th, September 12th. Then in December, I put the band together. And the first show we had was in December 1987, Smithtown, USY. Yes, we played Smithtown, USY in December 1987, followed by the next day, the Bayonne JCC, Bayonne, New Jersey. These was December 8th and December 9th, or December 9th and December 10th, 1987. Believe it or not, I remember these dates. you know, and I do remember it like it was yesterday. And then we turned into 1988, and then the floodgates opened. We started performing 100 times a year from 1988 to 1996 all over the world. So let's just go quickly. Nashville, we played Nashville February of 1988. I remember the show well. Then on to LA in June of 88. So we see these two shows are kind of spaced. Farmington Hills, Michigan, February 89. Okay, wait. So that's the first time we got to Michigan, but we played Vancouver and we played Seattle, Washington. Oh, that was November 89, wasn't it? Let me just see that. Vancouver and Seattle, Washington. Yeah. Well, we played Vancouver, British Columbia, November 88. And then that was a Saturday night. And then Sunday we were back in Seattle. So that was the first time we played. We have played 50 states, and we also played Washington, D.C., and we have played, of course, in Canada, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Windsor, Hamilton, Halifax, Ottawa, Edmonton, and Calgary. Calgary, the only city where there's a major Jewish population. Oh my God, Steve Ettinger writes, my wife Kim organized a concert in Bayonne at the JCC. I can't believe that, Steve. I didn't even remember that. So that's the beginning. That's the beginning of Shlock Rock. Now, meanwhile, we were putting out albums. We were putting out albums once a year, twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. And in winter, just like Taylor Swift is doing now. Are you following Taylor Swift at the VMA Awards announces she's putting out another album? She keeps putting out album after album after album. My God, she has so much to say. Well, we had so much to say also. I mean, we just actually now I'm working on 3 albums at the same time, but it's different because it's over like a 2 to 3 year period. These albums. She puts out. I think she's putting out an album to 2 a year. So Winnipeg is the only city in Canada that we have not played. For those of you out there in Winnipeg, I know you love the song Minion Man because of Rabbi Barry Bender, who brought that song there. And you can bring us. We're waiting. We're waiting for that show. Now, what about South Africa? Let's just, before we get back to America, South Africa and Australia. Australia, I've played 8 times. South Africa, I've played 9 times. Johannesburg, Pretoria, Cape Town, and Durban, 4 cities in South Africa. And in Australia, we played Melbourne, Perth, and Sydney. Melbourne, the first time was July 86. Sydney was July 87. Perth was also July 86. So we had, and then we've been there 8 times, or it's a long trip from Israel. Now they just announced that you can go through the Emirates, go on the Emirates airline through Dubai, and it cuts out like 6 hours of the trip. Otherwise, it would take 30 hours to get there. It's just crazy. The last time I went, which was in 2015, I had to stop in Hong Kong for 22 hours for a day just to rest because it's so long. It's a 12-hour trip to Hong Kong and then another 12-hour trip on to Melbourne. So, and then you have an 8-hour layover. So I took a 22-hour layover coming back so that I could rest and not have to fly, because it's really hard to fly 24 hours in a row. I'm just letting you know in case you haven't figured that out yet. So that's South Africa. So that's Melbourne. That's Australia. South Africa is from Israel is only an 8-hour trip. From America, you got to go through. You can either go direct. I think they actually have direct flights now, 14, 16 hours from New York to Johannesburg, but we went at that time New York to England, and then New York to London, and London on to Johannesburg. Long trip, also a long trip. Um, but we had some great times there. We did a lot of outreach conventions. That's why we went. In Melbourne, it was called Counterpoint, and in South Africa, it was called Encounter. What about Mexico? So in 2005, this is pretty recent, so, which is 17 years ago, we played Mexico City in September 2005. We also played Acapulco for Pesach, April 2005. Me, Eitan G, Tamir Goodman, Rabbi Shmuley Boteach, we were all at this Pesach resort because of Tal Tours. A great bunch of people. We had such a great time. It was so much fun. Ohad even came, was one of the singers. Shai Barak was there all of Pesach. It was really good. And for those of you that don't know who these people are, Ohad Mashkovich. Ohad is a great singer, big famous singer in Israel, Hasidic. Shlock Rock is more pop rock, rock and roll, cutting edge Jewish rock and roll. Ohad, they're all Hasidi. They're all like words from the Siddur, words from the prayer book, and a lot of oying. We don't oy so much anymore. We started off in my career in the beginning. I used to oy. What does that mean to oy? It means that there's two types of ways you could sing in Hebrew. You could sing in Ivrit, or you could sing in Ivris. Ivris, you oy. It's generally accepted that you oy. It means you put oy's in the middle, in between words. But I switched over to Ivrit because the audience that listens to me likes the Ivrit better than Ivris. Uri Butler is commenting a lot. Uri, you're doing good, as you always do. Camp Hask. Everybody should go to Camp Hask. Everybody should go to NCSY. Uri loves that stuff. Okay, so let's keep going. I just want to tell you one of the most fun experiences that I ever had at playing a bar mitzvah was pre-Shlock Rock, was with the band Kesher, and we played Parshat Noach. That means Noah with the flood. We played the Boston Aquarium. That was unbelievable. It was just we actually set up in front of the shark tank, or in front of the big fishes and big fish. And then we played a whole bar mitzvah at the Boston Aquarium. We were there for Shabbat. That was Kesher. That was pre-Shlock Rock. In terms of Shlock Rock, we did a lot of great bar mitzvahs, a lot of fun things, and also we would also go away for Pesach sometimes as the house band. I see. Stephen writes in, Ohad lives in Modi'in. Yeah, he does have a great voice, and he also adapts English songs sometimes. Oh, yeah, he did Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Very nice. L'chado D. He actually did that. That's gone over pretty well. Okay, so let's get back to the United States tours. And here we are. So we had Seattle, Washington, November 88. Farmington Hills, Michigan in February 89. Savannah, Georgia, February 89. Savannah is a fantastic Jewish community. I've played there many times. Great rabbis there. Great people. Just great people. Truth is, all the communities are like that, but I have a special place in my heart for Savannah. Okay, now listen to this story. Amherst, Massachusetts, October 1989, UMass. We were filming the Shlock Rock videos. We played Boston University. We played, not Boston University. Yeah, it was Boston U, where we filmed, and that's on Shlock Rock Videos Volume 1, My Menorah, a bunch of songs. We also did a special show in the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, where I debuted the song Scenes from a Sealed Room, and Moshe Shapiro was in the early stages of the band, and he played that solo. I even have it on cassette, never transferred it over to CD, but it's really a fabulous version of that, of Scenes from a Sealed Room, which came out in 1991, August 91, on Sergeant Schlocker's Magical History Tour. St. Louis, Missouri. All right, what about St. Louis, Missouri? St. Louis, I've been many, many times. Um, October '89 was the first time, and that was the first time we played Missouri. And Florida, the first time we played Florida was in '89 as well. But that's not really true. We played bar mitzvahs in '88, and we even took video footage. Phil Schiller was the videographer, but we have a lot of friends in Florida, and as a matter of fact, right now we are negotiating. We know for sure we're coming up to Chabad of Northern Orlando on December 19th, and we might be in South Florida there too. And then Purim time, we'll see what that happens. But everybody else out there, no, you should be planning the year. Shlock Rock for your community. It's time. Or maybe I have to reach out to you guys. Or maybe I have to get one of my friends or some of my friends to reach out to you guys. But either way, if you want Shlock Rock to come to the community, we're going to have a December tour. We're going to have a March tour. We're going to have a May tour. 3 tours for sure. And then, of course, we're still working on Daniel in Babylon, which must happen. The show must go on. Yes. So, by the way, we're wearing a Vancouver Canucks jersey. This is the old emblem, and it's Quinn Hughes, who happens to be Jewish, 43, number 43, Quinn Hughes. His father is not Jewish, I don't think, but his mother is, and they did celebrate their bar mitzvah. Jews and hockey, brought to you by Shlock Rock. All right, so I've already talked for 16 minutes. Can you believe that? I could just keep going on and on. We'll do a little bit more because I want to try to get through all 50 states, and we're only up to state number 11. Silver Spring, Maryland, where we played Baltimore. We played Silver Spring. Great communities. Pittsburgh, February of 1990. That's Uri Butler's town. We played Pittsburgh. We played Philadelphia a little bit after that. We've played Erie. Harrisburg. Oh, tons of states. I think like 250 cities. That I really should look up and tell you guys. Then, big one, March 1990, Anchorage, Alaska. People always say, you played Alaska? Yes, we did. Anchorage, Alaska. Around 60 people came. It was a great show. We were there for Shabbat. We were there with the artist, Rabbi Mordechai Rosenstein. Mordechai Rosenstein. He's a fantastic artist. You should take a look at some of his artwork. You might even know, you have it in your house and not even know it's him. West Hartford, Connecticut, and also in March 1990, we played many cities in Connecticut. Fairfield, and we played Stamford and New London and West Hartford. Yeah, so West Hartford was this March 1990, and then Birmingham, Alabama in November 1990. Now, we had filmed the Minion Man video in '89 there, but I didn't do a show there. I went there the next year and I did a show, November 1990. And we come to Charleston, South Carolina in November 1990 as well. Let me tell you something. Charleston, great Jewish community. I'm friendly with the entire Saracen family. Fabulous community. And then Chicago, Illinois, December 1990. First time we played Illinois. We have played Illinois many, many times since then. Skokie and West Rogers Park and Skokie, and we even did a show in the south side of Chicago, and we didn't do Bad Leroy Brown. We really should schlock Bad Leroy Brown, but that's for another discussion. All right, Columbus, Ohio, February 1991. Ohio, that's the first time we played Ohio. We played many cities in Ohio, Cincinnati and Columbus and Dayton and Toledo. There's another one I'm missing. Can't remember. Okay, not important. But we did many cities in, did I say Cleveland? I'm sure I did. Anyway, so Columbus is a great community. Met a lot of great people there. And we love that community. And we love Dayton as well. And that was the 18th state. So we're up to state number 19, Phoenix, Arizona. We've played Phoenix, Scottsdale, and Tucson many times. Great state, and it's always beautiful weather, except in January sometimes when it rains. We were hired a bunch of times. Yes, I did say Cleveland, Steve, didn't I? Well, if I didn't, then I say it now. We played Cleveland, of course, a couple of times. And that's a very nice community as well, but it's always cold there, as opposed to Phoenix, where it's always warm. Um, except for a couple of times when we got hired in January for an outdoor festival, and it rained the entire time. That was not fun. But what can you do? Show must go on, right? Milwaukee, speaking of cold, we played Wisconsin, October 1991. One of many shows in Wisconsin, one of many shows in Milwaukee. We also played Mequon. We also played La Crosse, Wisconsin recently. But let me tell you something. It is cold out. It is cold. And Mark Skyer, our bass player, lives there. The original Six. He's a doctor there. Overland Park, Kansas. Or is it Overland Park, Missouri? It is Kansas. We played Kansas in November 1991. And that was state number 21. I think we might have to do this in two. We might have to do this in two shots. But Kansas was great. We once did 16 shows in 19 days where we just kept going and going and going. You know that the real rock bands, we're a real rock band, but I'm talking about like the Stones and the Eagles. They do it all year where they just go from city to city to city. They must have days off, but we had days off too, because most of the time you play weekends. Occasionally, when you have Hanukkah, you have Purim, you do midweek shows. All right, we're almost up to, let's get to state number 25, Dallas, Texas. We played in February of 92. Great city. We've played so many cities in Texas. Dallas and Houston, El Paso, San Antonio, Austin, and then we would play the neighboring Shreveport, Louisiana, which is actually New Orleans. New Orleans is state number 25. Before that was Norfolk, Virginia. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever driven from New York to Norfolk, Virginia, and you take the 22-mile Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel? It's unbelievable. Just the water everywhere, and you go 22 miles and you're in Norfolk. It's a seaside city. It's pretty big, actually. We did shows lots of times there. Before that, we were in Denver, Colorado. That was state number 23. And Denver, we had some great times. 1,100 people coming to shows in Denver, thanks to Harriet Greenstein. She was a fantastic concert promoter. See, it's not only about the band, it's all about the promotion. Are you telling people about it? Are you getting sponsors? Are you doing all this stuff? And Harriet was the best. I hope she's doing well. I think she's still in Colorado. All right, state number 26, Nevada, Las Vegas. We played Chabad of Las Vegas, and we played I'm trying to remember the hotel, owned by Bob Arum. Anybody out there? Give me a little bit of help. Can't remember. Okay, but we played that great hotel, and great show. And by the way, in a lot of these places, I would hire musicians. Sometimes I would bring my guys from New York or local. So like Florida, we have our Florida band. Chicago, we have our Chicago band. LA, we have our LA band. And so on and so on and so on. But generally, if we don't bring our New York band, we have local musicians, even in St. Louis, in Denver. I have names that I've used. They play with me, and every time I come, we call them again, assuming that they're excellent. And most of the time, they are. Most of the musicians that play with me are excellent. Okay, so state number 27, Omaha, Nebraska, December 1993. Now, by the way, this is the first time that I played the state. We've played there since then many times. At that time, Rabbi Joey Friedman was the rabbi of Omaha, Nebraska. He brought us out. It was really, really great. We went from there to Minneapolis. Rabbi Chaim Goldberger, who was the rabbi emeritus of Knesset Israel in St. Louis Park, Minnesota. Great place also to do shows. Des Moines, Iowa. We played a show in Des Moines, Iowa, February 1994, and we did many shows in Des Moines, Iowa. Can you believe that? Yeah. Unbelievable. Providence, Rhode Island, state number 30, March 1995. Greensboro, North Carolina, October 1995. Manchester, New Hampshire, May 1996. And then Washington, District of Columbia, that's Washington, D.C., in March 1999. And we're finally in the 2000s, and we're up to state number 34. I want to just keep it going. We're 25 minutes in, and I'm just talking and talking and talking. But I think you guys are liking it. Well, I'm not sure, but maybe you'll tell me afterwards if I spoke too much. Okay, what do we got left? We got a total of 34, state number 34, Indianapolis, February of 2000, Portland, Oregon, March of 2000. That was a great, great show. Wilmington, Delaware, March of 2005. That was a great show also. Then Burlington, Vermont, September 2006. The air was so clean I couldn't even breathe. You were not used to clean air in New York. And we went to Burlington, drove to Burlington, Vermont, played with a great drummer named Ezra Oakland. He was really great. And it was nice. It was really nice. From there on to Salt Lake City, Utah. Look at that. November 2006. Bangor, Maine, February 2007. Louisville, Kentucky. First time was November 2010. Oklahoma City, November 2011. Little Rock, Arkansas, July 2013. So now we're up to state number 42, and we get to the last 9 states. Hawaii, Honolulu. We're talking November 2013. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, January 2014 in minus 33-degree weather. Charleston, West Virginia started the last 7 states, which would be really 43 through 50. But I counted Washington, D.C., so we have 51, even though it's a district, it's not a state. But okay, here we go. Let's just finish this up. Hawaii, Honolulu, November 2013, nothing like that. Was unbelievable. We walked past the filming of Hawaii Five-0, the new series. And then in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, January 2014. And then we start. Charleston, West Virginia, May 2014. Hattiesburg, Mississippi, May 2014. Fargo, North Dakota, May 2014. Only 7 people came to that show, but still it's a show, and it counts. Laramie, Wyoming, 33 people, May 2014. Bozeman, Montana, May 2014. Our 49th state, Boise, Idaho, May 2014. And we finish off with Lag BaOmer in Albuquerque, New Mexico, May 2014. That finished our 50 states back in 2008 years ago. So what have we done since? We've done shows. We keep going back, and we keep going back, and we keep going back. And it's time for you guys, if you have not had us, to have us back, and also to hear all the new music. So everybody, I want you to all keep on Shlock, and I hope you enjoyed the show. I've already spoken for 28 minutes in a row. It's crazy. I want to, let's see if we could do a little bit more Rofei Cholim. So we want to wish a speedy recovery to Shmuel Michael ben Malka, Aliza bat Batsheva, Asher Enzel ben Dvor Malka, Miriam Yehudit bat Tovashena, Miriam Dodi bat Chana Yochevet, Rivka Furman bat Leah Bela, Chana Leah bat Malka Sima, Mordechai ben Sima Gita, Tzvi Chanoch ben Leah, Dov Ber ben Yehudit, and there's Chaim Shlomo Yehuda ben Hind at Sivia. What else? Of course, anybody that wants a shidduch. Oh, yeah, Steve, we played from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia, Atlanta, L.A. But I never played Tacoma, but all those other places I played. Tacoma, Washington, that would have been an interesting place to play. Northern California. Anyway. All right. For those of you, we wish you guys find your shidduch. Natana Pesa bat Rachel. Pesia bat Rachel, Shoshana Bracha bat Brindle, Asher Anshel ben Chana HaKohen, Atara Miriam bat Dvor Malka, Zahava Golda, Malka bat Miriam Tzivia, Chayesara bat Rivka Fruma. Keep on shlocking, baby. Keep on shlocking. Chana Miro Bracha bat Rivka Fruma. I want to tell everybody out there, for those who need to have children, for those who need things, now is the month. It's the month of Elul. Yeah. It's the month of Elul. We got to talk to God. Got to talk to God. And hopefully, you guys, we will see you on Monday night with another show. This time more music. We'll be back to music as we just hit the 30-minute mark. Everybody out there, have a great Shabbat and keep on schlocking. Lenny Solomon, live show number 212, show 212 is in the books, the history of Shlock Rock.